guys, Kevin here back again and welcome back to the Python series. So in this video we will talk about variables. Now what are variables? Variables are something that can store value for us in our application. So what kind of the values they can store? Before moving on to that topic, let's try to understand this word variables. So let's break down this word into vary and ables. So thus this says that variables are something that can vary over a period of time. So let's say you are trying to develop an application, let's say a weather application. So you will need something that can store the value of the temperature at some period of time. So thus we will need a variable again. So what are a variable? Variable is something that can store value. So let's say we will store a value of a temperature at some period of time in a variable. Now that temperature isn't gonna remain same as it is for the whole day. Thus it is gonna keep on changing. So again, as we discussed, these are variables. So the value will keep on changing. Now let's say you are developing another application, and in that you have to store the usernames. Okay, so the username with respect to an individual user will remain the same. But talking about with respect to the application, then for the application there are n number of users or there are many users. So the username will hold various values, but with respect to an individual one, the value will remain the same. And talking about with respect to the application, the value will keep on changing. So these are variables. So variables are, we can say that variables are some containers that can contain our value. Now why they are called as containers? Let's take an example that you have a shirt, you have a book, and you have a comb. Let's say you have to keep all these three things in some place in your room. Okay, so what you will do? So you will keep your shirt in cupboard, you will keep your book in let's say your bookshelf, and you will keep your comb in your drawer. So what you did was you kept all those values. So assume all these things acts as some values of your application, and assume that these values were kept into some containers, since the bookshelf, cupboard, and all these are containers. Similarly, in programming, variables are containers that can hold some value, or we can store some value in that, and we can retrieve that value whenever we want. So now let's try and define some variables in our Python. So for that, let's create a new file in this folder, and let's name it variables.py. Okay, now how to define a variable? So to a variable, let's first see the syntax. Then variable name is equals to value. Simple. This is the syntax of a variable. So how to define a variable? First we need to give it a good suitable name, and then we need to assign it a value. So how we will assign a value, or how we will store a value into a variable? Using the assignment operator or the equal to sign. So now let's move ahead and define a variable. So let's say that our variable name is username. Let's say the value of this variable is KU. And let's say there is another variable, and let's say that variable is password. And the value is 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we have defined two values, username and password. Now let's try, and the values are stored in the variables. Okay, now let's try and fetch these values. So again, to fetch this value, we will need to print these values into the output screen, so that we can understand that yes, the values were stored in the variables and we have fetched. So how we will fetch the value? Using the print function. So we will write print, and just we will pass the variable name, so username, and again print password. Now let's try and execute this file. So here we can see KUR was printed, that is stored into the username variable, and 1, 2, 3, 4 value of the password variable was also printed. Thus what this says, that KUR is a string and 1, 2, 3, 4 is a number or a numeric type of data. So what we can store in variables? We can store anything in a variable, rather it be a decimal point, rather it be an integer, rather it be some word, characters, or string. So we will see all these things ahead, but right now keep in mind that variables are something that can help you store some value in your application, and that value can be anything, a number, a word, or it can also be a paragraph. So try defining some more variables and try printing them, and let's catch up in another video.